Ben & Jerry's Topped Whiskey Biz. I'm sure you all know by now, since this too came out when I had the COVID. Yeah, you're probably gonna hear about me and COVID for the rest of your life. I think it was 7 new flavors came out, and it's been in the UK for a long time now. I'm sure many of you know this Topped line, let's call it. And basically it's topped with this ganache layer. Don't think Magnum pints, like with the shell around it. Think ganache. Not like soft, chewy, but firm, chewy. Your spoon does cut through it, but it's not like chewing a gooey brownie, and it's not like cracking apart either. So there's a fine line and in between. So there's, I'm not gonna go through all the flavors, but this is one of 2 that happens to have the white chocolatey ganache with white fudge chunks. Let's just read the description. Brown butter bourbon ice cream with blondie brownies and whiskey caramel swirls, topped with the white chocolatey ganache and white fudge chunks. So I've actually had a few pints of this by now. Got sent a couple along with the makers of the whiskey for this ice cream, which is Whistle Pig. Big shout out to those guys too. Sent a bottle of whiskey with the ice cream. Pretty cool. Not the biggest whiskey guy, but I enjoy it every now and then. And they are one of the best whiskey companies, whiskeys in the game. So the fact that Ben & Jerry's teamed up with them, it was kind of twofold. It's in their backyard and they're one of the best. So I kind of dug around a little bit. I wanted to save some of this topped layer for you, as you can see here. So it's got the white fudge chunks in it, and this is the white chocolatey ganache. And you can see it's right here on the top. It comes right off. You can see the thickness there. So it's pretty thick stuff. So since it's on top, we'll start right there. I think it might be the best part of this pint. Like, I'm not a big white chocolate guy. This stuff is phenomenal. Like I said, like right now it's melting in my mouth. I literally chew right through it. It's almost like fudge. And incredibly flavorful. Yes, very, very sweet. Also very buttery. It has awesome flavor. Now, here's where I have a little bit of an issue. I think Ben & Jerry's went, oh, spoon's flying on me. I think they went over the top. A little too much. They should have just stopped with the white chocolate ganache. The fudge chunks, it's a change of texture. Yeah, they're firmer, they're crunchier, but they don't do anything for the flavor. All I'm tasting is that ganache is so strong, but very good. Does it hurt the pint? Not really, but I would have preferred just straight ganache. I think it would have been a not much funner experience, but it would have been a little better with just the ganache. So keeping it simple would have been better here, in my opinion. Now, I personally think you should save some of that topped, the white chocolate ganache layer to eat with the rest of the pint, but I went ahead and scooped it off so you can see what's underneath there. And you can see the brown butter bourbon base with these blondies around. A little bit of swirl here, we'll get into that. But let's start with the base. The base is where, as my good friend, Family Food Dude says, your mileage will vary. It's not heavy on the whiskey at all. I know that's good news for some people. I know it's bad news for some people. I think it's just a safe play by Ben & Jerry's. It's noticeable, but it's not slapping you in the face. I do get way more brown butter. Think, toffee, caramel, and it's definitely more sweet than it is buttery. However, overall, between the brown butter and the whiskey, I think it's just well balanced, but also mild. Now, I'm team brownie all day, every day, but I think blonde brownies were 100% the right move here, just with the flavor concept. And these guys, they're everywhere. Pretty dense bites. Think like a cookie dough type bite, but they're gooey, very gooey. It's almost like gooey butter cake. Super soft, moist, dense, awesome chew to them. Now, whereas we had a little more, let's say, caramel butteriness in the base, here you have a much sweeter, richer vanilla flavor to contrast that a little bit. Here we go. I was just about to sling some hate, Ben & Jerry's, about the caramel swirl, but see if I can get it here. We are hit the mother load here at the bottom. So yes, it was lacking the top half. Now I'm hitting it like crazy at the bottom. Very sticky, gooey. It's dense. It's like it's not a light swirl by any means. Impressed by this. Even better, you get a much richer, much more buttery flavor than what's in the base, which is perfect because it was mild in the base, and then you have the vanilla sweetness, a sweeter tone in the blonde brownies, and then you hit this absolutely rich and buttery, yes, still sweet, but very buttery, most buttery part of the pint in this caramel swirl. I gotta admit, for not being the biggest whiskey guy, I'm pretty pleased with this pint, and we're off to a good start in this top lineup. Yes, it has its flaws, it has its ups and downs. The base is very mild, but you get a ton of buttery in the caramel swirl, which came through at the end, and also that white chocolate ganache layer, which is the best part of the pint, in my opinion. As for the whiskey, like I said, your mileage is going to vary. Some of you are going to be happy with it, and some of you are going to want more, and that's just the name of the game. They played it safe. Blonde brownies, very good. They add the ultra sweetness to the pint and also provide that perfectly chewy textures. Very impressed, Ben & Jerry's. Whiskey Biz gets an 8.5 out of 10.